Phyllis, great to have
Kelly.
you. Welcome.
Thanks, Kelly. Thanks for having me on.
Must be a very, very anxious time for you.
Well, it's been, yes, it's been very interesting. But it's this, you mentioned the state, New York State, starting to reopen. The governor is slowly opening the door. He's done an amazing job in communicating and making sure we get through this very difficult period of time. And, obviously we've been working on all levels of government, trying to be as helpful as we can to make sure that when New York City starts to reopen, that our customers and our tenants are safe and they feel comfortable coming back into the work environment.
And we'll talk about some of the technology in particular that you and others are going to be using. But I want to talk big picture for a moment. Nielsen is one of the companies who has said, and this was in the New York Times the other day, that even after coronavirus, there are 3,000 workers in the city no longer need to be the office full time, can work from home most of the week. And their larger point was that Manhattan faces a reckoning if working from home becomes the norm. There is a sea change. Even just yesterday, the CEO of Scotts Miracle-Gro said, yeah, I used to commute from New York to Ohio every day. I'm not going to be doing that anymore. What happens if people's behaviors change and they don't need as much commercial space as they used to?
Well, first of all, you had your guest on before about research and science. And I think there's been reports about vaccines coming on the market sooner rather than later, which is a very hopeful sign, therapies. So it is people working from home has adapted very quickly. But I think New York City has always come back from these type of situations. In the early 90s, we had 30 million feet of vacant space in Lower Manhattan. Everybody said it wasn't going to come back. After 9/11, nobody was going to come back into an office building. Everyone was going to work below the 15th floor after Sandy. So, the obituary of New York has been written many times, but, we're confident with proper protocols, great leadership from our mayor and our governor, and the social, human interaction that has always been part of the strength of New York City will come back. It's going to take a little time after all these other situations, but it will come back. And there will be other companies that will step into the void as some companies continue to work from home. We've got incredible research hospitals. We've got scientists. We've got medical institutions. They're going to grow. Other companies will step in and use technology to be creative and be the companies of the future that we hope will fill in our spaces. Yeah, so let's talk, speaking of technology, there's several things you guys are doing to kind of get through the next 3 to 6 to 12 to maybe 24 months. You have a tech startup subsidiary. You have a Nantum building operating system that tracks indoor air quality metrics, temperatures. You can expand it to things related to health and wellness. You have an app that provides situational awareness, so to speak, to tenants so they can see how crowded spaces like the lobby and other rooms are there waiting lines to the elevators? It reminds me of the SimCity game I played as a kid. Well, my son, who's 35 years old, he grew up on SimCity also. But I'm going to hire you as our salesperson because you pitched it perfectly. We started this prescriptive data a few years ago to make our buildings more environmentally friendly, more operationally functional. It gives real-time data to our building operations team. And so trying to create this app and give our tenants real-time data is a continuum of this technology. Yeah. So we've been working on this for a while. We understand how many people are in the building, what the CO2 levels are, what water consumption, electrical consumption is. So it's really the building operating system of the future. And we've been licensing it to other building owners and corporations literally all over the country. Could be a whole new business model. No, I mean, frankly, I find it on some level kind of creepy, but I understand that, people want, as long as it's anonymized, I guess that, it's useful information to have. Real quickly, Bill, before you go, Danny Meyer has been talking about not reopening his restaurants because the level of demand is simply not coming back in the foreseeable future. Does something like that send more of a chill down your spine, the sense that, hey, these are the big players that should be stepping up right now? Well, look, Danny is a great friend. Actually, we're having him operate our our food service in our new building in Brooklyn at Dock 72. But I think it's really, it's been a lot of discussion about state and city funding. And I think the House today, hopefully, or Monday, will pass their COVID-4 stimulus bill, which has over $750 billion, that's with a B, dollars for cities and states all over the country. It's just not about New York. New York State is 8% of the GDP. New York City is 5%. So we need, not just us, but every city across the country needs that stimulus dollars to get funneled back into the city. We've taken tremendous hits on city revenues, transfer tax, income tax. So we need that revenue to get back in there and support our basic functions. And I think, restaurants, a local restaurant that my wife and I go to, I spoke to the owner and he said, I said, how are you going to adapt to the 30%? He goes, I'm going to have a seating at 5. I'm going to have a seating at 6. I'm going to have a seating at 7 and a seating at 8. So we have to adapt and make changes, and hopefully we'll transition through, get to the point where the vaccines and therapies are out there and the city will be back better and stronger. My dad always said, never bet against New York City. So we're continuing that.
That's for sure. That's for sure. No, I know exactly what you're saying. Bill, thanks for joining me today and good luck with it. Please keep us posted.
Thanks, Kelly.
Bill Rudin is the CEO of Rudin Management.